guys, today we are going to be overviewing the course syllabus. As you guys know, it's English 1002, College Writing 2. A prerequisite for this course is College Writing 1. If you haven't taken that course or the equivalent, then you are not eligible to take this course yet. My name is Michelle St. George. I will be your instructor this term, and as you guys know, this is a fully online course. Okay, a few nuts and bolts things to point out. So my office, if you ever wanted to actually stop by my office, it's located in trailer 650, room 652A. So most of my office hours will be held remotely via Skype, right? But if you wanted a traditional face-to-face conference, you are more than welcome to schedule one, which would take place in my office, trailer 650. My office hours are Thursday 10:50 to 11:50 via Skype. So here is my Skype account, right, with all my contacts. And right now I'm available online. And you'll when you or if you need to ever meet with me for an office hour, you would just contact me via Skype, and then we would have a Skype session. And if I'm working with another student, I'll kind of put the red unavailable tag on my Skype account to indicate that I'm working with another student already. However, if I'm available during the 10:50 to 11:50 space, then that's a time for me to work with students who have questions, and you're always welcome to make an appointment during that time. My email is michellestgeorge@csueastbay.edu. You're welcome to send me an email. If you have questions, do be diligent and try to find the answer out for yourself first. But if you do really have a point or a question that you need to get answered, feel welcome to contact me. If I haven't responded to you within 48 hours, something has likely gone wrong. Please send me the email again. I'm pretty good about getting back to students within that 48-hour window. Finally, my office phone is here during the Thursday 10:50 to 11:50 time block. You're also welcome to call my office if you wanted to have a phone conference rather than a Skype conference. Okay, required text. So everything's an argument without reading. 7th edition is your one required textbook. I encourage you to make sure you pick that up at the bookstore, immediately if you haven't already. We will be using that book quite a bit. And the other required material is a Skype account. If you haven't signed up for one yet, it's totally free. Please do so soon. So I'm not going to read the course description verbatim, but I do expect you to read that on your own time. Just one thing that I want to point out about this course is the focus on rhetoric, composition, and analysis, right? Rhetorical analysis, argumentation, and research. That really is the heart of our course and what we will be doing this term. The other thing I want to highlight is our course objectives, right? Our course objectives are the things that you should be able to do by the time you're finished with this course, like being able to write as in part of a process rather than just busting out an essay the night before, planning, drafting, revising, proofreading, going through the entire writing process. You'll also learn about different types of ways to argue, including the classical model of argumentation, the Rogerian model, as well as the Toolman. You'll be reading critically, learning about ethos, pathos, logos. You'll be learning about MLA and APA. A few other points that I want to highlight here is you are one of the, not in just my class, but one of the student learning outcomes of 1002 generally is to keep a reading and writing journal, right? And you'll also, another requirement is to be able to work with groups. And in an online space, that's going to look a little bit different, but you will still be doing peer review and sharing your work. Okay, so the course requirements are 3 major essays, which account for 60% of your grade. There's also going to be reading quizzes, your journal, right? discussion boards, and then your final. And please note, you need to complete all of these components in order to pass the class. Final breakdown is that traditional A, B, C, D, F. Blackboard, you guys are here, right? You're familiar with Blackboard already. With that said, Blackboard for an online class is really a classroom, right? It's where we come and meet as a group. So please be checking Blackboard regularly. Attendance and lateness, participation. Hey, it's an online class. So one perk to that is there's never going to be a specific time for you to show up to class, right? With that said, you need to be showing up to Blackboard regularly, participating, completing all required materials in the weekly folders. If you are not doing that, you are not showing up, you are not attending, which means you are not going to pass the course. Major essays, as mentioned earlier, you're going to write 3 of them in either MLA or APA. They're going to be 4 to 8 pages in length. Reading quizzes. Hey, I value the fact that you guys read, so don't be intimidated by those reading quizzes. If you're doing the reading, you will be very successful at them. Journals. Yeah, so journals, you really should be journaling about once a week. I'll often have a specific prompt or a specific question for you to kind of respond to for the journal, but please feel welcome to go to the journal for you, right? To use it for you rather than just thinking about, well, how can I use this to get the points, the journal points? Hey, make use of it, right? You might use it to take reading notes, to brainstorm writing assignments, to free write about a topic, or to set up weekly goals. So please feel welcome to go above and beyond with the journal and have it as an exploratory space for you, not just for me. Skype conferences. Okay. As mentioned earlier, Skype is going to be the way that we meet kind of one-on-one. I require 3 one-on-one conferences throughout the term, and in a bit I'll show you the dates of those. My username on Skype is michellestgeorge@hotmail.com. Please send me a contact request before March 31st, before the end of this week. The week before conferences, guys, I'll have a sign-up sheet with a whole bunch of times that I'll be free to meet with students, and you'll actually sign up. You'll reserve a specific time for us to meet on Skype, and then at that time, so let's say we scheduled an appointment for Monday at 2, then Monday at 2 we would both be on Skype, and then we would talk to one another that way. The SCA is a wonderful source, especially for online students. If you send an essay to them, they will send it back to you with feedback within 48 hours. How wonderful is that? And I do have a link to the SCA if you want to utilize that service, which I highly recommend you do. Plagiarism, guys, Turnitin.com, first and foremost, is going to check to make sure that you are not plagiarizing. But more importantly than that, our classes is here for you to begin practicing your writing and sharing your voice. If you are stealing the ideas or words of someone else without citing them, that really is such in conflict with our overall goal. Do not borrow, steal, use another person's work without citing them. If you are quoting something directly, make sure you put it in quotation marks and give them the proper tip of the hat, so to speak. Grievances, hey, if you have a problem, make sure to contact me. We'll try to work it out, and if not, we can meet with the director of composition. Netiquette, or etiquette. Netiquette because we're online. But hey, be mindful of everything you post to Blackboard, right? We will be talking about some controversial topics, and you may disagree with some other students in the class, but you still should be respectful and polite, right? Imagine it's a face-to-face course, right? So a big point I want to make here is finally, please do not waste my time, your peers' time by writing frivolously or writing without a care. This is a writing class, right? You should be proofreading everything that you post. You should give it a lot of consideration and thought before you just, write something up and post it. So be mindful, be thoughtful, be an intellectual, be smart about the writing decisions that you're making. Late work, really, I don't accept late work. You can't make up the quizzes. With that said, I get, let's say you're working and you're working on an assignment, it's almost due and your computer shuts down. Hey, I get it if it's 5 minutes late. I can forgive that. With that said, if it's hours after a deadline, that's really, that's just not acceptable. Students with disabilities, if you have a documented disability, please get in touch with me. Got any confidentiality? I can't release your grades to you via email, but again, if you go back to our Blackboard page and go into my grades, nothing is going to be there right now because there's no work being turned in, but you can find your grades there. Okay. So let's look a little bit at the course schedule. I'm not going to go through it all, but the entire course is pretty much, I've spent a long time plotting it out so that you can, really think about and anticipate, your schedule, right? So a few points that I want to kind of highlight. So I've broken this course down week by week, right? And there's always going to be a day 1 and a day 2. Right? And you'll find, and I'll show you this in just a second, that, for example, in day 1, there's always going to be some readings that you're going to have to do. Some are going to be online. Some are going to be from Everything's an Argument. And there's also going to be lectures, quizzes, activities, and journals in each folder. So for day 1, you want to complete all of these points before moving on to day 2. By the end of week 1, everything needs to be done. And guys, this takes hours, right? Each reading or each folder is going to take hours for you to complete. So let's say it's day 1 and you're like, what? Okay, I need to do all this work. Well, if you just go into the weekly folders in Blackboard, and there it is, week 1, right? You click on that, day 1, maybe. There we go. And then it gives you all of the assignments to do for day 1. And notice there'll always be a due date, right? Due March 31st, due April 3rd before 8 p.m. And usually I like things due about 8 p.m. That gives me, if it's due at 8, that gives me about 3 hours from 8 until 11 to grade during the evening. So I do like that 8 p.m. Marker, and we'll often use it. Okay, so a few other things that I want to point out. Notice how there's the Skype conference sign up here, right? So that will be the day there'll be a sign up sheet available. And then notice how there's a Skype conference actually scheduled for that day. And on Skype conference day, like I said, we might meet it. You might have signed up for Monday at 12, so we'll both be on Skype. We'll have a face-to-face talk, 10 to 15 minute talk. But usually I'll have something, some part of a major essay due that you will be sharing with me during that Skype conference and that we will be talking about, right? A few other points I want to mention. You will be doing peer review. I will assign you groups. I will give you the contact information for every group member. You will be sharing your work with them as well as me. So there'll be a lot of support for you when we get to there. But just know that you will be sharing your work and you will be receiving comments from other students as well as giving comments to other students. Finally, those major essays. So when a major essay is due, you will upload it to turnitin.com, the submissions folder. So to go back to the Blackboard page, here we go, sorry. So you would go into turnitin.com submissions. Nothing is there yet because nothing's due, but there would be a little a kind of icon that would say essay 1, and then you would just upload it into that little icon when a major essay is due. It will also be the space that you will go to check for feedback. I give all my, for this class, I'll give all my feedback via turnitin.com. So you'll click on, once you've submitted it, and a comment, my comment and my feedback will appear in turnitin.com. So that's how you'll know your grade, and as well as my feedback on your work. Okay, so I think those are the main points that I want to cover. If you have additional questions, again, you're welcome to shoot me an email, or shoot an email to one of your peers in order to get that response.